Welcome to Matzobricks. In this video I would like to talk a little bit about semaphores. It's part one of our sequel. In this part I'm going to talk about the German semaphore with one blade and two aspects. The aspects are go or, as you can see here, stop. So these are the two aspects that the semaphore is able to show. There will be another video about the two-blade semaphore here that works like this. It has a third aspect, that means you're allowed to pass but you need to go slow. And there will also be a third video where we talk about the distance signals here. The aspects that this distance signals are able to show are expect stop, expect go, and expect slow. So now let's talk a little bit about this signal and how it works. Basically, as you've already seen, I built this with Lego parts only. There's a couple of little exceptions. I've summarized that a little bit on the website as well. For instance, we need some kind of a wire. I'm just using a jeans thread here. You probably know that from other Lego sets where you need some kind of a thread for a crane or something. I'm using a similar thread here. And what's also happening here is that you need, of course, a light. The light is actually switched mechanically, so we're not using a red or a green light that switches its color electronically. We're using that completely mechanical as in the real world as well, because this signal is very old. It's still common and used on German railroads, and it was invented and built for the first time when there was no electricity available yet. So actually this was a gas lamp here, and in order to flip the light from red to green, the engineers used some kind of a transparent glass in red and in green that was moved in front of the light, and that's what I'm doing here as well. So anyways, you need the light. We're using a 5mm LED. Then you need a little bit of wire, and you, as you have probably seen already, let me just take my action cam here. It's almost impossible to see the wires from the LED down the mast to that little house here, and this is because we're using extra thin copper lace wire. It's only 0.15 millimeters in strength, and though the diameter is very small, it's still sufficient for this situation because an LED is using only very little current. So that's a good option to wire this LED here without having too much visible wire somewhere. So next thing we need is, in order to move the signal and the signal blade, we need a servo, which is here. Now let me just flip that signal around and you can see what's happening here. The servo is moving, there's a little wheel on top. I'm gonna do that. The blade is moving with the servo. You need to tinker a little bit until you've got the optimum servo angle here. They are a little bit different from servo to servo, and of course you also need to find the right length of your thread here. So it's a little bit of tinkering, but absolutely doable, and then you will have it working in a reasonable time. The signal is connected itself, of course, to a Matzo layout controller, which you see here. This is a prototype of the Matzo layout controller Mega. It has 16 ports for servos. We're using one of them. And it also has 16 ports for LEDs, which we are using one pair as well here. And this Matzo layout controller is actually used to control all of the signals here, but not all of them. You have maybe seen that there are servo houses which look like this, and there are some larger ones. And what you might have also seen is that there are no wires. So this signal is actually not connected to anything. And this is because in the signal house there is a little bit more than just the servo, because there is an ESP 8266, a little switch, and a battery which can be recharged here. And you might have guessed it already, of course, on this microcontroller is the Matzo layout controller firmware installed, and this allows the signal to move and work like the other signals that were wired. I hope I have the right signal here. Yeah, that's it. So that's a complete autonomous unit that is actually here. If you are forced to play with your Lego train layout on the carpet, and after 1 or 2 days your wife comes along or your mommy comes along and says, I want to clean the floor, you have to put it all away, welcome to my world, then these autonomous systems are really made for you, because you don't have to find the right place on the layout first, then wire it all together, see that the servo angles are correct for that combination of controller and signal and all that stuff. You build this one time, invest a little bit more material and time, of course, but then you've got a signal that just works. You can just simply put it somewhere on your layout and that's it. Perfect for a Saturday afternoon with your Lego trains. So basically that should be it about the signal and the mechanics. Now let's come about the beautification. Let's talk about the beautification of the signal. You have seen the white parts here. Of course, that's not a Lego brick, but we need some decals for it. So basically everything that is white and can be glued here is fine for us. I'm using this car sticker. That there was a D for Deutschland actually, that you can well, stick on the back of your car to indicate from which country you are. These are very cheap because it's mass production, of course, and if you just need some scissors and then have the right part and stick it here, you're fine to go. That's fine. You can also use just paper if that's okay for you. If you want to do it really professionally, you need some water foil. I don't know what the term in English is, but that's a special decal foil. You can print your decals with a printer on that piece of paper, put a little bit of water on it and place it here on your Lego parts. And after it has dried a little bit, you need some spray, acrylic spray. Fix it with that, and that is of course a perfect solution that lasts a very long time. Depends on you how you want to do it. Yeah, so that should basically be all. I have compiled some building instructions for that. You find it on the website. I hope you enjoyed this video. To see how the signal is working in practice, I have also recorded a little bit from our train operations. When this layout was a bit nicer with all the buildings and stuff. You can have a look at it and you see how the signal works in practice. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to stay up to date with Lego train automation, subscribe to my YouTube channel. We've got a Facebook profile and an Instagram channel as well. So long, enjoy, and have a good day. Bye.